What happens when a rapper's name alone makes other artists rethink their next move, or even change cities just to avoid potential trouble? In Memphis, Tennessee, there's one name that still makes even seasoned rappers pause before speaking out of line. Pooh isn't just a topic of conversation. To many, he represents a warning. And once his name enters the discussion, the entire energy shifts almost instantly. This isn't internet bravado or studio mythology. People familiar with the scene say he carries himself exactly how his reputation suggests, and the streets respond accordingly. He's connected to real pressure, real environments, and a reputation that has made the local rap community move with extra caution. Stories tied to him range from serious street-related incidents to artists quietly leaving Memphis altogether to avoid unnecessary complications. Some even suggest that one wrong move or one careless mention could bring unwanted attention. That perception didn't appear out of nowhere. His presence is said to be so strong that even mentioning his name the wrong way is rumored to invite problems. Stay with this breakdown, because by the end, it becomes clearer why many people say Pooh Shiesty isn't just another artist chasing recognition. He's often described as a looming figure in the background, the kind that keeps others alert and thinking twice before making decisions. Before diving into why so many artists keep their distance, it's important to understand who he is and where he comes from. Born Laton Jr. in South Memphis, Pooh Shiesty didn't stumble into music randomly. He grew up surrounded by pressures that many rappers only describe in lyrics. Memphis itself plays a major role in shaping this narrative. The city is known for being unforgiving, with its own rules and consequences that can escalate quickly. This isn't a place where online exchanges or playful diss tracks stay harmless for long. In Memphis, situations are said to turn serious fast, and many believe he embodies that reality. Even his nickname carries meaning. People close to him say it was earned early, reflecting someone seen as slick, unpredictable, and already causing concern at a young age. From early on, those around him viewed him as someone to watch closely, and that image stuck. By the time he was barely a teenager, his life was already moving differently from most kids his age. Reports indicate that around age 11, he was linked to robbery-related issues, followed by an assault case a few years later. These aren't framed as excuses or exaggerations, but as part of a pattern people point to when explaining his background. Those around him didn't see someone playing a role for attention. They saw a street-influenced youth who also showed a natural talent for music. To understand how Pooh Shiesty operates today, many say you have to look at his upbringing and family influence. His father, known in Memphis as Mob Boss, wasn't just chasing dreams in the music world. He was widely recognized as someone deeply connected to the city's underground economy and also founded Mob Ties Records years ago. This reputation wasn't built on talk alone. Public records show that Mob Boss was convicted in connection with a serious 2004 case involving the death of local DJ Rebecca Glenn, which only intensified his standing in the city. Reports also describe how law enforcement monitored a property believed to be tied to illegal activity. From the outside, it appeared abandoned, but authorities later claimed it was being used for operations involving drugs, distribution equipment, and significant amounts of cash. That environment reflects the world Pooh Shiesty grew up observing: real risks, constant pressure, and real consequences. He has spoken publicly about watching his father work in studios, learning the music business early, while also seeing how closely music and street life were connected in his surroundings. He said his father operated on an independent level, with his own label, tour buses, and live shows. Here's where the story shifts. Unlike many artists who inherit only an image, Pooh Shiesty reportedly learned both sides of the game. He picked up business knowledge early, how labels move, how money circulates, and how connections are built. At the same time, people around him say he maintained credibility that couldn't be manufactured. That combination is often cited as a reason others find him intimidating within the industry. Now let's talk about Chopper Gang, because this story isn't about one person acting alone. This is a collective that's known for more than music. The name itself isn't random. In street conversations, it's associated with heavy consequences and impulsive decisions that leave little room for error. Members like Big 30, Lil Hank, and others aren't widely viewed as performers playing roles. Locals describe them as individuals with real street ties going back years. Lil Hank is often mentioned as an example. Shortly after his release, he was reportedly involved in another serious situation. Authorities charged him in connection with a shooting that he allegedly believed involved a rival's vehicle. Tragically, reports later indicated the target wasn't involved, leaving an innocent person permanently injured. That incident showed how quickly situations can escalate when emotions override judgment. That's the kind of unpredictability people associate with this group: fast reactions, irreversible outcomes, and no margin for mistakes. During this period, Big 30, often described as Pooh Shiesty's closest collaborator, was already signed and seeing strong streaming numbers before Pooh fully broke through. Yet, even with success, legal trouble followed. He later faced serious drug-related charges in Alabama and was extradited back to Memphis on a separate case. To many observers, that reinforced one message: fame didn't erase the lifestyle. People in Memphis often say this wasn't an image created for music, it was how they lived day to day. That perception is exactly why Chopper Gang's name carries weight. They're not known for lyrical back and forths or social media sparring. In Memphis, disrespect is taken personally, and many believe this crew handles issues directly with serious intent. That's why clashing with them is viewed as risky. It's not just about image damage. Careers can stall, opportunities disappear, and personal safety becomes a concern. One of the clearest examples often cited involves Big Boogie. This situation shows how reputation alone can alter an artist's trajectory. Big Boogie was gaining momentum quickly, blending melody with raw Memphis energy. But talent doesn't always shield artists when reputations collide. Tension reportedly surfaced when Pooh Shiesty went live on Instagram and calmly stated that he never liked Big Boogie. The delivery wasn't loud or emotional, which made it hit even harder. Viewers didn't see it as entertainment or clout chasing. It came across as direct and serious, suggesting real dislike rather than performance. Later, when Big Boogie addressed the situation on a podcast, he didn't avoid the topic. Instead, he emphasized that he had no beef with anyone in Memphis and made it clear he wasn't looking for issues with Pooh Shiesty. That wasn't trash talk, it was caution. Acknowledging what that name represents carried more weight than any aggressive response could. For many watching, that moment spoke volumes. It wasn't about pride, it looked like self-preservation. Another moment added to the tension when Big Boogie asked online for someone to name who had played with him. When someone replied with Pooh Shiesty's name, the silence that followed said everything. There was no response, and the moment ended there. Eventually, Big Boogie relocated from Memphis to Atlanta. While artists often move for business reasons, people close to the situation believe safety played a role. When faced with someone known for deep street connections, the choice becomes clear: stay and risk escalation, or step away to protect yourself. Big Boogie chose to leave.
I had beef with nobody in Memphis. Like, I never exchanged shots from people in Memphis on no real beef battle, bloodbath type shit. Ain't nobody never smacked me. I never did harm nobody on no hating shit, no nothing. So, like, no disrespect to him or none of this shit, but me and Shai didn't know each other. You feel me? Like, he don't know me, I don't know him. We never had beef, never shot at each other, none. You came to me by the fake page, that's weird, but you keep this shit over there, you feel me? Like, not trying to sound tough, not trying to disrespect nobody.
Just being real.
If anyone still questions why artists remain cautious around Pooh Shiesty, many point to what reportedly happened in Miami. Even outside Memphis, even when music should have been the focus, situations were said to escalate quickly. According to court documents and reports, the incident began as a simple transaction involving marijuana and a pair of Jordan 4s. What was expected to be a straightforward exchange reportedly took a turn when something went wrong during the meetup. Or it could be that certain words were exchanged that didn't sit right. Instead of someone walking away and letting it slide, things escalated quickly. According to authorities, the group involved was reportedly robbed. One individual was shot in the lower body, while another had a rifle pointed at him and was warned, "Don't try anything." After that, investigators say the suspects drove away in a luxury vehicle as if nothing had happened. That detail alone shocked many people watching from the outside. What made the situation even more surprising was what followed. Pooh Shiesty allegedly went online shortly after, posting images that showed large amounts of cash. One bill in particular became important because investigators later stated that the same bill was recovered at the scene. That detail caught a lot of attention across the industry. To many observers, that level of confidence sent a strong message. It suggested that situations around him don't always remain verbal for long. For people watching closely, the incident reinforced the idea that even small tension can turn serious very fast. And that's why many artists choose to keep their distance and stay careful with their words. If a disagreement over something as minor as weed or sneakers can escalate that far, people naturally wonder what happens when someone feels truly disrespected in music or online. That concern is exactly why many rappers stay quiet. To some, this is what separates Pooh Shiesty from artists who only project toughness for image. In street circles, his background is often viewed as authentic rather than manufactured after fame. This isn't seen as a story of someone growing up comfortably and later adopting street ties. Instead, people say he was connected to street life at a young age, facing real legal trouble, and building a reputation long before attention followed him. That history is why many take his words seriously instead of dismissing them. When Back in Blood dropped with Lil Durk, most listeners heard a hard hook and catchy bars, but in Memphis, many people interpreted it differently. Some believe the lyrics referenced real tension involving rival groups, making the song feel less like entertainment and more like a warning. Lines such as, "You know who took that stuff from you, go get it back in blood," weren't viewed as metaphor by everyone. To some, it sounded like a direct reference to real situations involving real people. That's why response tracks followed quickly. Other artists felt pressure to reply, not necessarily for attention, but because silence can sometimes be viewed as weakness in street politics. This wasn't playful rap competition for streams, it was real-life tension spilling into music. When one artist from the opposing side was later shot after releasing a diss track, it shook the entire scene. That moment sent a clear signal to those paying attention. Any conflict tied to Pooh Shiesty wasn't being treated as just lyrics or online talk. It carried weight that people couldn't ignore. Other rappers see all of this and quickly understand that Pooh isn't simply portraying street life for records. In their view, he doesn't separate music from reality. Members of his circle continue to face real legal cases, and real people end up harmed. For many observers, the violence connected to his camp isn't dismissed as rumor or exaggeration. That's exactly why artists like Big Boogie reportedly chose to step back instead of escalating tensions. They recognize this isn't friendly rap rivalry, it's a situation that can turn dangerous very quickly.
What gives Pooh Shiesty so much presence in the rap world is something most artists can't replicate: street credibility built long before fame. In today's hip-hop landscape, most conflicts stay online. Tweets, captions, diss tracks, then everyone logs off and goes home safely. But Pooh is often associated with an old-school Memphis mindset, where disrespect isn't easily brushed aside. Words are believed to carry consequences, and action is expected to follow. Because of that, other rappers understand that saying the wrong thing about him isn't just risking public image. In their minds, it could bring real danger, and that's a level of pressure most artists don't want. On top of everything else, he signed with Gucci Mane's 1017 label, giving him major industry backing and access to resources. When label power mixes with street connections and that mindset, it naturally makes people uneasy. That combination alone explains why many artists choose distance over confrontation. When you watch how other Memphis rappers move around Pooh Shiesty, the energy is noticeable. There's a mix of respect and quiet caution. Nobody wants to accidentally say the wrong thing and have it interpreted as disrespect. Nobody wants to end up in a situation like Big Boogie, who was reportedly pushed to leave his own city because peaceful coexistence with Chopper Gang wasn't possible. At the heart of it all, many rappers fear Pooh because he represents something they believe can't be bought or faked. His reputation comes from what people see as real street credibility, backed by real consequences. While many artists step into characters when the beat drops, many believe Pooh lives the same life off-camera that he raps about on records. Industry insiders, local artists, and fans recognize that difference, and it affects how everyone interacts with him. The Big Boogie situation highlighted what can happen when someone tests that reality. Once lines are crossed, options become limited quickly. You either step back and take a hit to your image, or you stand firm and risk serious danger. Most artists choose self-preservation, which explains why Pooh Shiesty carries so much weight in the rap scene. His influence doesn't come from one factor alone. It's his family legacy tied to mob, the reputation of Chopper Gang, and high-profile incidents like the Miami case that all combine. Each piece adds to an image that makes artists pause before speaking, in a genre where authenticity matters deeply. To many, Pooh represents one of the rawest versions of real, and challenging that image doesn't come without serious consequences. The fact that he's now facing major federal charges shows that this lifestyle comes at a heavy cost. But even with that reality, his reputation continues to shape how artists move, speak, and choose their battles. That's the power of perceived street credibility. It doesn't disappear just because someone is behind bars. Pooh Shiesty's impact on the rap game is undeniable. The respect and fear surrounding his name show that authenticity carries weight beyond music. Some artists may feel tempted to test him, but Memphis has already shown what can happen when lines are crossed. If you want to stay locked in on stories that rarely get told openly, this is the place. Make sure you're subscribed